And the National Hockey League have unveiled 31 retro jerseys for all 31 of their teams. Gary Lawless has ranked his top 5 as we go down to Summerlin, Nevada right now and join the Golden Knights Insider. Hey, Gary, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're doing good. I guess these new jerseys, if that's really all we have to talk about, there are worse things to talk about, wouldn't you say, on a Monday morning?
Yeah, sure. We could be, I don't know what, but yeah, the jerseys are cool. I ranked, it's so funny. Twitter never lets you down. I put my 5 favorites up there and I just looked at it fast and kind of went, I like these 5 in no particular order. And then as soon as I was done, I'm like, oh, you forgot the Colorado one, which was pretty cool. And then everyone's all over me about the Detroit one because I picked it. I just love that logo. And it's whether it's like what's more retro than the winged wheel?
Not much, but it looks like a practice jersey. We were talking about that last hour. Hey, listen, as the Winnipeg guy, what's with the Jets in a gray jersey? I guess we can't throw that up, Clark, but that's a miss to me.
Well, I'm not a Winnipeg guy. I worked there. I worked there for a long time. I was not a Jets fan growing up. I cheered for the Montreal Canadiens because, in my hometown in Peterborough, we had you could watch the Leafs on Channel 5, which came out of Toronto, or you could watch the Canadiens on Channel 2, which was the local CBC affiliates where the great Gary Dalliday worked at Checks TV. And Bob Gainey was from my hometown and was kind of, he was in his heyday in the 70s when I was growing up. So I was a Habs fan. So, and I'm not a real big jersey guy, so I don't get too wound up in, I love this jersey, I love that jersey. But the Jets jerseys, Hustler would be way better to come on here and talk to you about whether he likes that jersey or not. So yeah, there you go.
We care what you think, Gary, and you know that. But I'm going to put a lot of thought into my top 5. And sadly, the Golden Knights and the Oilers, who are my top 2 teams, aren't going to be in the top 5. I'm just going to say that.
The Golden Knights jersey is really cool. Like it's our third mark. It's like the sword. It's not the one we use on. It's our secondary mark. Sorry, we don't use it on most of our jerseys. That the V in it is for Vegas, and it goes back to the Las Vegas Thunder. And on the back of the neck, there is a 95, and that 95 it represents 2 things: the 95-96 season, which was the best season in Thunder history. There was a lockout that year. They had Alexei Yashin was on that team, Radek Bonk, and Clint Malarchuk and Pokey Reddick were 2 of the goalies, but the third goalie was Manon Rhéaume. I just got off the phone with her, and she so that 95 represents that season and the season that Manon Rhéaume played for the Golden Knights. Her 2 sons, one of them is at Notre Dame. He's a goalie, and her other son, he's a skater. He's a forward. Is playing AAA in Detroit, and she works in the Little Caesars program. She was just telling me, her and Darren Elliott, who now works for us, they started a women's program there, and the first team that they had, those women now are all about to go to college. She has 7 players on her team that have signed D1 commitments already, and she says she'll have 9 by the end of the year. What a success story.
Well, that is absolutely amazing. I'll never forget her live interview on David Letterman. You probably saw it too. When Letterman said, "I don't know what you just said. I love the way you say hockey." Just came to mind. Even with all that history of Vegas, I still don't think the Golden Knights jersey's making my top 5. But on to other things, Gary.
You've been wrong before. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there's a big debate in Canada, and I know you're following what's going on up here quite a lot, about whether the NHL will start on January 1st. And initially people didn't think so, and now they're saying, yeah. How are you answering that?
Well, I guess, first of all, I really hope so. Connor McDavid's had COVID. There's a handful of players that have had it and have recovered, and we know that the therapeutics that they have. I don't think there's that fear for the players about getting sick that there once was. Obviously, you don't want to get this, and who knows how it affects someone from person to person. But for the most part, young, healthy, the best athletes in the world, they're probably going to handle it a lot better than other segments of society. So I don't think that's really part of, they'll have to be really, the safety protocols will be a big part of what they do. But I think that, and I also think the players trust the league and how they're going to handle that. Gary Bettman and Bill Daly and the entire NHL did such a great job with the playoffs. I think there's a trust there. I really think the big issue is the economics. You're not going to have people in the stands in Winnipeg for some time. You're not going to have people in the stands in Montreal. I think Ottawa and Toronto, I know that Ontario is getting hammered pretty hard right now, but hopefully they get a handle on that. I do think that, the premier there is probably a lot more likely to put people in the stands than say in Quebec and Manitoba. Alberta, they're going to have the World Juniors. Like they'll figure something out there. And Vancouver is another situation altogether. But down here, if we were to start tomorrow, we could have 10% of our seats, of our capacity. So we're around 18,000. So we could have 1,800 in the seats plus half of our suites. And I'm sure that, the team is hopeful that would increase over time. Tampa can have people in the stands. The Panthers could. But, you'd have to go from market to market. But Dallas, obviously, the Cowboys have people going to their games, so the Stars could have people at their games. I think that is obviously a big factor. And the league and the players are going to have to figure out how the players are going to get paid because, that's, the owners are looking at massive losses. The players are looking at, you've got a finite amount of time as a player to earn your money, and they're probably very reluctant to play for less than full pop. But I think both sides are going to have to read the room here. The world is suffering. A lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are working for less than their full pay. So hopefully they can. Hopefully they can forget about winning the battle and worry about winning the war, if you know what I mean. Because if the NHL doesn't play this year, we know the NBA is going to play. And I know it's apples and oranges because of the TV deals. It's easier for the NFL and the NBA and MLB to roll out because their TV contracts are so big. But, if the NHL doesn't play, what will that do to their next TV contract? Gary Bettman is, I think the media rights, he's going to be negotiating that at some point in time in the next little while. And having that product on the ice will really help, increase the value of it. Not playing, I guess, Rod, I'd use this analogy for you. You go to a mall and you've got, I'll use Canadian stores. You've got Eaton's at one end, the Bay at one end, Sears at one end, and Rod's Fine Clothes at the other end. And Eaton's and Sears and the Bay all stay open. But Rod's Fine Clothes closes for a year. And then Rod says, okay, I can open again. Well, what's it going to be like? You've been forgotten about for a year. And everybody's kept going to Eaton's and Sears and the Bay. Rod's is going to, the NHL is already the small guy on the block, a small person on the block. And you sit out a year, it damages your asset value. It damages your relevance on the sporting market. So it's a dicey proposition, I believe, to sit out for a season. So I hope they can get together and figure something out.
You just explained the CFL's problem in a nutshell right there. 2 quick last points, Gary. One, I've watched Raiders games out of Vegas in the empty stadium, and they show the strip, and I've never seen the Bellagio pool, if you will, or out front, that it's not jammed with people. And to see it as empty as it is, it hurt me. You know that how many Canadians go down there to Vegas. Like, if they were to go now, what's the scene? Like, are things even open?
Yeah, things are open, and actually, we recently they opened. Derek Stevens, who's a big supporter of the Golden Knights, he opened a new hotel. It's called Circa, and it's like that Bellagio style hotel, like a resort / hotel casino. But he opened it up in Fremont. He already owns the D, and he opened it up sort of very close to it. It has the largest sports book in the world. It is incredible. And he built a pool, and then he put a TV screen. I don't know the dimensions, but it's the big TV screen they have at the Cowboys Stadium. It's every bit as big as that. So you sit at the pool and you watch, because games start here in terms of hockey at 4:00, right? You sit at the pool and watch hockey, or I imagine on the weekends. For college football and the NFL, it'll be mayhem out there. Listen, Vegas it's a rough time here economically, but this is a unique town with an incredible community of people. They'll bounce back. We'll bounce back.
There's no doubt. Well, all my friends are back working. They're just not making as much money as they were before. So, when you say things are open, which is the best part. And just lastly, I don't know if your analytics show you what your hits are from Canada, but are you guys, like, there are a ton of Golden Knights fans in Canada. For whatever the reason is, I'm not totally sure. But what's the reaction from you guys to that?
Well, one of the two fellas' names from Saskatchewan who kind of made
Justin and Greg. Justin and Greg.
Yeah, Justin and Greg. Yeah, we like those guys. They've been down here a few times. They're the guys that bet me to got me to wear a Riders jersey, which was people still send that picture to me every once in a while. By the way,
looked very good. It was Justin Reeves' jersey, right?
Yeah, it was. It did not look very good. I don't look good in green, and I don't look good in anything. But that's beside the point. Anyways, young people love the Golden Knights. It's really interesting. Little boys and girls they love the logo. Marc-Andre Fleury captures their imagination. Now, Robin Leonard, his big thing is the panda. It's new and fresh, and I'm sure young people will love the Kraken as well out of Seattle. So, and our logo our jerseys they're new, but they're immediately authentic. They have that classic look about them right from the very start. And contrary to what you say, our new jerseys, our retro jerseys, are awesome as well. They just came out with that gold jersey, and it's pretty amazing. We started here. T-Mobile Arena was where the team was going to play, and Bill Foley and George McPhee decided they were going to build a practice rink in Summerlin, 2 pads. Now they just built another 2 pads in Henderson, plus they're building a new arena, 6,000 seats, where the American Hockey League team is going to play. They're going to practice at Lifeguard Arena in Henderson and then just go to the event center for games. But like, Rod, it's just wild. Like, my daughter is in power skating right now, and you drive up to City National, which you've been to a handful of times, at 3:30 after, I pick her up at school, then drive back to the rink, and it looks like you're in Weyburn or Brandon or Peterborough or Verdun or wherever, where all these cars are rolling up, and boys and girls are getting out of their car, grabbing their bag out of the mom lifts the hatch. The kid grabs the bag in his stick and drags it into the rink. It looks like Canada, and it's except it's I played golf twice last week.
I know. I was just looking, 26 degrees and sunny there tomorrow. Look, we got to go, but the next time we talk at some point, because you've been a day one guy with the Golden Knights, we'll talk about how they made Vegas a hockey town, because 24 years later in Phoenix, they're still trying. Like, people think he just waved a wand, and I know how much work goes into stuff like that, but we are completely out of time, they tell me. Gary, always great catching up with you, pal. Stay safe and keep doing what you're doing, my friend.
Are you going to be on the line for the commissioner's State of the Address today?
Wouldn't miss it for the world, yeah.
I'm going to try and tune in myself, Rod.
Okay, let's see how that goes. I'll fire a few questions at him. All right, Gary Lawless joining us from Vegas, Golden Knights Insider.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.